My name is Sydney Cuillier, a Rhoden Fellow here with Andscape, and we are here at Southern University, A.W. Mumford to be exact, for a special V-Week feature. Today, I have alongside me one of the most decorated football players to ever come through Southern University. Two-time All-SWAC, SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, Bayou Classic MVP, two-time Sheridan Black College All-American. I can continue to go on. Not to mention, helped lead the 1993 Southern University Jaguars to a SWAC championship, a Black College Nationals championship, spent 1 year with the Arizona Cardinals, a father, a grandfather, a husband, a loving minister. And then on top of that, safeties coach here at Southern University. Introducing Coach Sean Wallace.
Well, good afternoon. Good to be here, Sydney.
How are you today, Coach?
I'm blessed. I'm getting better every day.
Thank you so much for being here. I understand that it took so much for you to even get here. And honestly, just knowing your story, hearing your story is just absolutely amazing and remarkable. But we're here to share your story to a bunch more who don't necessarily know about it. So let's put life into perspective for 1 minute, okay? You had a picturesque life. I mean, you had the career, you had the accolades, you had the family, and then out of nowhere, your life just completely changed. So for those who don't know, we're gonna run down your story of who Coach Sean Wallace is. So last fall, when you first started experiencing pain in your stomach, can you walk us through what was going on?
It was the second game of the year, Jackson State home game, um, where I was having a little tummy ache and couldn't figure out what was going on. Thought I was just simply constipated. Wind up making it through the Jackson game, and the following day went to the hospital to get some IV. Thought was maybe dehydrated, and then so when I got to the hospital, they ran some tests, and then they got concerned that they told me to call my wife, that they believed that I had pancreatic cancer. And at the time, I had knew nothing about pancreatic cancer, what it was, how you get it, anything like that. I simply told my wife, come to the hospital, but do not look at the internet. Don't get on the computer and figure out what it is, because if it's a nasty. Now that I know, it's a very nasty, aggressive, and cruel disease. So, and that's how I got them. That's how I got the news. So we ran some tests, and about a month later, on October the 9th, which is my daughter Sadija's birthday, is when I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
So Coach, even before your initial diagnosis, there was still time where doctors were trying to figure out what was going on. I believe it was 2 weeks of surgery. And even then, you still didn't miss a game in which you were coaching. I believe you played Alabama A&M, and I believe it was a Florida A&M game.
Yes. Why? Well, you're correct. They ran tests. Dad had some surgeries, and simply put, the young men that I coach on a daily basis gave me the strength to overcome my pain and my suffering, because as a team, it's not about me. It's about we. It's not I. It's a team. And so, being a team player, I wanted to be there for my team, And so, unfortunately, last year I didn't miss any games. I was at every game, and I would take a chemo therapy on a Monday to help me prepare to get to on Saturday. And with the coaching staff, Southern University was tremendously supportive and allowed me to do that. So I was very, very grateful. But those young men gave me the strength to push to get to Saturday. Yeah, so.
And so also, when I did a whole bunch of research on you, obviously, too, you have been with your wife, Vino, for about 28 years now. And I know you mentioned the fact that the football team gave you strength, but how much were you relying, or how would I put this? What did your family do to help you continue on this fight?
There's no question. Vino and I just celebrated actually 30 years of marriage. And there's no question that I would not be where I am without her support, as well as my family, my daughters, my son, my extended family, like Brother Sterling, the church family, the community, have all played a role in my success in winning and beating this disease. but there is no way that I could do it without being able to, without the support of my wife. My wife actually um, ultimately gave up her career to take care of me, and so on a daily basis, she takes care of me and makes sure that I do the things that need to be done to make sure that I have what I need. So I wouldn't definitely be without my loving wife, Vino.
Well, I love that because it really does take a village, because I know that's something you preach to your athletes as well too. And so let's take a backtrack for a second, right? So let's go back to whenever you were initially diagnosed. So when the blood work and imaging came back, it revealed that you had a cancerous tumor. But because it was so late in the diagnosis that the tumor spread to your liver, basically deeming you inoperable. Where did your mind go when you found out that you had stage 4 pancreatic?
Well, when I woke up from the originally from the surgery, they told me that if they found cancer after like 3 or 4 different times, I got negative results, that I was clear, which was one of the most frustrating things I didn't understand. They couldn't find the cancer, and eventually on October the 9th is when they found the cancer. Now at this point, my wife and the family, they know, but I don't know because I'm just waking up and I'm looking for a port to be in my chest. They told me that if they found cancer, they would go ahead on and put the port in my chest so I could be ready to receive chemotherapy. Well, upon waking up and realizing that I was diagnosed with stage 4, I immediately went to the Word of God and began to pray and believe God that I'm healed, and that by Jesus' stripes I'm healed, and that I'm going to live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. But something else happened as well. It was probably something that my wife and I listened to, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago on a broadcast. And it was Joel Osteen's mother. She was talking about her fight with cancer, and that she was told to go home and to basically go home and die. And she had this recording, and I told them the first thing I wanted them to do is please find that recording. And so they looked it up on however you do that, the young people do it, and was able to find a recording of her giving her testimony. And she said that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and that he's still in the healing business. And so we began from that day on to listening to that sermon on a daily basis, along with some other things that I was given by some of the other people that's in the village. And we had just saturated ourselves with the Word of God, believing God that He would heal me. And so that exactly what He did. We were selective about at the beginning of who we told, because we wanted to have, real prayer warriors, people we know that hear God's prayers. And then obviously we came later on and let the public know. But it was those type things that helped us to, of course, again, my wife there praying and my family praying on a daily basis and throughout the day.
So, ever since you have had word about your diagnosis, you have had an unwavering amount of support, not only from the Baton Rouge community, but literally all over the state. So, where did the Sean Strong initiative come from, and what does Sean Strong mean to you?
Well, as we sat around, we came up with it, authentically came up with it on the spot with the Sean Strong. And this means perseverance, resilience, never giving up, always encouraging other people. It's not about me. Take time into sharing and pouring into other people, and that's where it comes about. The persevere, never giving up. Something that I learned when I was here at Southern University in 1990. What football has taught me, being a team sport and never giving up on your teammate and just keep fighting and nothing's too tough. Those type of lessons I learned when I was here at Southern University, and always, other than the gospel of Jesus, took those principles that I learned while I was here at Southern and to raise my family. You got to be mentally tough. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. You got to be prepared for it. May not win every battle, but we gonna battle. And everything that we do, we're not gonna quit. And quitting isn't an option. And so we're gonna figure out a way to find an answer to the solution. We're gonna be problem solvers. So those are some lessons I learned that I've taken and taught my children and raised my family. And when the time came, it was diagnosed. Here we go. Let's go. Now here we got another battle we gotta fight. And so I believe that we're gonna win because you're gonna fight the battle for me. You just tell me what I need to do. So.
What is your personal mantra?
Well, I've been the fan forever. Watched him up as a young man growing up. Love him, love what he stands for. And for me, it's no matter what life throws at you, and it's gonna throw some things at you. That your response, my response, our response is, I got this. And so I believe that God wouldn't allow us to go through anything that we're not able to handle. And because of that, I'm able to handle it with the faith, knowing that I'll come out on the other side victorious. But the answer is, I got this. I'm not a big social media guy, but years ago, through one of my mentors, may his soul rest in peace, Coach Mac Newton, he taught us, no matter what life throws at you, your response to it is, I got this. So that's it. I got this. We got this.
And you do. So originally, let's talk about the GoFundMe.
Yes.
Originally, from what I read, your family actually didn't want to create the GoFundMe, but did due to all the support that you had backing you. How do you feel about all of these people helping you right now? And currently, I believe the GoFundMe is sitting at over $100,000 raised.
The GoFundMe has been a tremendous blessing. And what happened is, you have to put your pride aside and ask for help. Number one, I knew that there's a lot of people in the community that love me from my past history at Southern University and the works that I've done throughout the Baton Rouge community over my lifetime. And so from not being selfish and just to be able to share with, Tremaine and I was in church service, and when I brought it up to him, he was like, I think it's a great idea to do it, and then let's put our pride to the side and ask for help and let people know what's going on. We already had established a prayer circle of faithful prayer warriors that we knew that knew that they loved me, and I knew that there was a community that loved me as well. Now, I was absolutely blown away by how much support that the community gave, and refreshing, because one of the things that you never knew, that I never really realized, I knew that what kind of an impact that I did make on people. And it was through the giving and those letters and notes that they would write to make me realize that, man, I did make a difference in people's lives, and the things that I were sharing with the younger people, whether as a youth minister, as a high school coach, as a college coach, that it was making a difference with my own children. You just never know. And so it's something that I'm glad that I did. And I got the community involved. It's been a blessing, because since then we've got the Wallace Foundation, and we go about serving other people, and helping them be equipped to be prepared for life and the things that they're gonna go after, which is, it's a beautiful thing.
So impact, let's talk about it. Last October, it was announced that the Human Jukebox and the Fabulous Dancing Dolls were gonna wear the Sean Strong shirts during one of the home games. What does it mean to you, the fact that so many people have been impacted by your message and by your story?
Again, unbelievable feeling. Never know again that you make that much impact for the Human Jukebox, which I've always been a fan of. To be able to support me in that manner, as well as the other people in the community, was a tremendous blessing. The words can't describe how in awe I was that it was happening, how appreciative that I am that it did happen, and continue to be appreciative. So it's been an amazing ride to see again the support throughout the community, not only locally but at a lot of places. I was out of town, and the guy came up to me. He said, you're Sean Wallace." And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Sean Strong." I was like, "Yeah." 2 days ago, it was maybe yesterday, I was told of a story that a young man was in Washington, D.C., and one of my daughters, I haven't even told her this, one of her classmates said, there's a guy in Baton Rouge, Sean Strong. She thought it was Sean Strong, my name. But I went to school with his daughter, Sadija. And so just the impact, the reach has been tremendously. And I can say this, I'm looking forward to get even larger with the exposure here and some things that's coming down the pipeline as well. So I appreciate you all giving me an opportunity to share my story, and to God be the glory.
In the month of June, it was announced that your cancer cell count had dropped to less than 300, rendering you almost cancer-free. Did you believe that that was possible?
I did. From the very beginning, I believe I was going to beat the cancer. And so to me, it was a praise report. Um, and it was an awesome opportunity to share with the community through their help and support, because again, without them helping, without the funds, one of the things we realized that it's very expensive to be healthy, and that it takes a lot of funds and resources to be able to do it, and without the help and the blessings of the Jaguar community, it wouldn't have been possible. So we're always grateful, and always looking forward to raising the funds that's necessary to be able to continue the fight.
So speaking of the Jaguar community, from all the youth you touch, from your athletes to even your colleagues, a lot of them are going to see this interview, and this will be their first time knowing what's truly going on with you as of right now. So you were in remission, then your cell count rose, prompting you to undergo surgery recently.
Almost to the date, was having eerie kind of feelings, or having stomach aches, stomach pains, and went to the doctor. I had to put initially with the original surgery and things like that. There was a stent that was put in temporary that began to give us a little issue, and so we went to the hospital, figured it out, removed it, put a permanent stent in, hoping and believing that that resolved the pain, but unfortunately it didn't. And through many tests and surgeries, we went back to MD Anderson, where we were then told that the mass had grew, and that was causing the pain. So we've been in and out of the hospital for the last 11 weeks, and unfortunately this time, the last 3 games I did succumb to missing, and physically, but I was there coaching on the TV and through the TV, and so, but we'll be back for the Classic. We'll start chemotherapy Monday after the Classic, so we'll beat Grambling, and then we'll be en route to beating this cancer again as well.